Also, I got to watch most of that Scientology documentary.
Yeah.
I want to talk about that. I can tell you, Scientology, still on your side.
Yeah.
I think I'm the only one who walked away. I'm the only one who walked away from it.
Not true. John Travolta also walked away from it saying good things about Scientology.
I mean, non-Scientologist. I saw a lot of parallels to other religions, and I feel like Scientology is being treated unfairly in the media. I really do. We can talk about that.
Open, we'll just end up cuddling.
John, you're on the Mike Calta show. Hello.
Hey, Mike. I just wanted to comment. You said that you, after watching Going Clear, that you kind of are on Scientology side, and I'm just like, wow, that's crazy.
But let me tell you what I mean by that. I'm not joining Scientology any soon. What am I trying to say?
Just not
anytime soon.
Right? Yeah.
Well, no,
however,
of course not. You love your money, so you wouldn't.
No, but that's the difference. That's why I said I'm on Scientology's side. I don't understand why Scientologists are being vilified for doing the same thing that all the other religions do. What religion were you brought up as, sir?
I was brought up in a Protestant religion where tithing was optional, but it's not optional with Scientology. In order to belong, you have to donate.
And listen, it's not
a fixed donation, but it's not a donation.
It's not optional in the Catholic Church either. I mean, they're not going to lock you in a cage if you don't do it. But if you want to make the sacraments and you want to be a part of it, you have to pay for that.
Yeah,
and
every week.
And they want 10% of your salary, and they expect that from you every week so much that they give you envelopes. And they want you to write your name on the envelope so that they can track how much you give them.
But like having your baby baptized, that's free, right?
Having your baby baptized costs you money. You want to, John? Let me tell you this first, and I'll give you a chance to talk.
Okay.
My parents, my mother got pregnant when she was 17, 1970, and my father was 19. And they went to the Catholic Church, which my family has been going to for years. My Catholic Church, Our Lady Queen of Peace Church, was attached to the Our Lady Queen of Peace Elementary School, in which my mother and my cousins went to, and then my family went to, and then my younger cousins after me still go to. And they went to that church, and they wanted to get married in that church, and the church told them no. And they said because my mother had gotten pregnant before they were married, that they couldn't do it. So they went and they eloped to South Carolina, and they got married there. And then they went back, and my parents, years later, decided to get divorced when I was 5 years old. And they had still gone to church the whole time. And my mother went to the church and said, I want to get the marriage annulled. Now, when you annul a marriage, that's in the eyes of the church like saying the marriage never existed. It shouldn't have happened. There were circumstances that never existed. It's not like a divorce. It's an annulment. And the church told them no, unless they paid $500. $500 to a mother of two in 1977 is like $1 million. And they didn't have the money, and they couldn't do it. And it's been the same way. I was an altar boy. I saw how much people had to pay for weddings. I saw how much they had to pay for funerals. And I'm not talking about the funeral preparation of the body or anything. I'm talking about the service, the church service. You think if you're tithing 10% a week of your earnings, that should come with it. When somebody dies in your family, the church should take care of it. I've seen the money collected. I've seen the money in the rectory, a lot of the cash.
Yeah.
I just don't understand the difference between what they do and what Scientology does, and why that makes them bad, but Catholics good.
Well, it's kind of, I've done a lot of research, and I've been to Clearwater. I've protested the abuses, and I tweeted you a link to a video that I did of after a protest. I had 2 Scientology PIs follow me around.
Well, let me jump in real quick. I'll let you talk. Let me jump in real quick. What were you protesting?
I was protesting the fact that that people are abused in the cult. Was there somebody in particular you were upset about? Because really, well, there's Lisa McPherson,
which is the only name that I've ever heard people bring up before.
I know a woman personally, and I spoke about her on Drew's show, so I won't mention her name, but I know a woman personally whose son was in Clearwater visiting his father. His father was a member of the church. They don't believe in psychotropic drugs. He was highly depressed. Father took away the drugs. He committed suicide.
Okay. But here, all right, to jump over to you doing the protest. So you have a vested interest in somebody in a situation that you know, and you go down there and you're protesting the church. So is the church not allowed to defend themselves? Is the church not allowed to say, who are these people and why are they here? Let's send a couple of our people out there to talk to them, and let's find out what's going on.
Does that though? If during the whole, Catholic abuse scandal, did they ever send out PIs to follow their protesters? Did they, and not to mention just recently, yesterday, the LA Times broke a story where David Miscavige's father left the church, and he had hired PIs to stalk his father.
Listen, I saw that. I saw that story. Here, and you say he hired PIs to stalk his father. You're talking about a guy who was in charge of over $1 billion for Scientology. How do you know that he didn't hire a guy? And I'm speaking hypothetically. You just don't know. How do you know he didn't hire that guy to keep an eye on his father? His father has information, being his father, that some people don't have. And you don't know why he left. You don't know what went on between them. People right away want to go, he hired a PI and they're stalking them. I don't know. If you're standing outside of my house busting my balls, I'm not bothering you, and you come to my house and bust my balls, I have every right to shove it back in your face. And I believe that. Now, I've also heard that they have definitely crossed the line in some situations with harassment. People left the church.
There was video on that Scientology documentary of the Scientology people coming to that guy's house and doing all that stuff.
And that is wrong. But it's also wrong when priests molest kids. There's a lot of wrong that goes on in a lot of religions. I'm not like these guys are the greatest. All I'm saying is,
they're just like the rest.
They're just like the rest. They're just like
not just like the rest. That's the thing. They're totally different. The Church of Scientology was responsible for the largest government infiltration in the United States with Operation Snow White. They were also responsible for Paulette Cooper. They tried to frame her for sending bomb threats to the church because she dared to speak out. What other religion would do that? There's no other religion on the face of the earth that would do that.
Listen,
you go into a Catholic church or a synagogue, or even talk to a Muslim about what they believe. They will tell you straight up what they believe.
Right.
You go into a Church of Scientology and ask them what they believe. Well, we're applied philosophy. You got to pay thousands and thousands of dollars to find out. No, actually, we believe in the evil Lord Xenu came 75 million years ago and dropped bombs.
Well, hold on. Let me jump in here for a second. The fact that they are charging you to go up levels is even better to me. Because you know why? I wouldn't pay them a goddamn dime to go into any levels and do anything. You go do that. You're doing that on your own. No one's forcing you to go in there. You go in there and you want to be a part of this. And you take my wife and I were discussing this yesterday about Tom Cruise. If anybody that would make me want to go there, it's Tom Cruise. The guy has had a hugely successful life. He went there in his young years, in his 20s, and he is hugely successful. So how do I not know that Tom Cruise uses applied science the right way towards his life, and his abilities are limitless now? The guy could do anything. How do I not know that he is the guy who is doing it right? And there's plenty of other non-famous people like that are doing that as well.
But what about all the people that have come out and said that I've been abused at the hands?
But that happens all in every religion. You know how many times I have gotten my ass kicked by a priest or a nun? And I'm not talking about a hair pull or a pinch. I've seen nuns punch kids in the face. I had a priest in my high school that got arrested for molesting kids. He tried to kiss Mike Rinaldi on the mouth the night of Eddie Jennison's graduation. There is abuse in all of the religions. Again, I'm not saying that they're perfect. I just don't understand why they're so bad compared to everybody else. My wife brought up a point where she said, the problem I have with it is with Catholicism, you have the Bible, you have hundreds of years of stories, you had a person that existed and there was accounts of his life, and it's been written about over the years and blah, blah, blah. In this case, you have a guy who wrote science fiction and his book, and it happened in the 60s, and it was just manufactured. And I said to her, do you realize how many times that Bible has been rewritten by man to dictate whatever it wants them to say. Which kings had it rewritten so that it changed the laws and it made them, put them over, made their lives easier? You can't trust the goddamn Bible. It's been rewritten so many times. Stuff has been taken out. You have no idea what it says because you don't know about the stuff that's been already pulled out of it and what the original message was supposed to be. You can't trust that. I don't understand the parallel. I don't understand why they get away with everything and Scientology are automatically bad people.
It's just, I guess I can't explain it any better than I have. And I mean,
But the thing is, I get what you're saying, and there are some issues there, but there are issues in all religions.
The other religions allow you to speak out and allow
Really? Talk to the Muslims and see how many women are allowed to speak out over there.
Well, that's why some people call the Muslim religion a cult. Because
a cult has nothing to do with it. And we all know that Scientology is not a religion. They are hiding under their religion name so that they don't have to pay taxes. And they're pretty goddamn smart the way they did it. They went there and they threatened to have all their members sue the IRS for little things so that they could eventually take up all the IRS's time and bankrupt them until they finally cracked and said, fine, make them a religion. That's smart business planning, if you ask me. There's plenty of guys. I heard Opie and Jim the other day saying that when they hit hard times, his father found the loophole and called their family a religion, filed for it, and they lived a couple of years tax-free. That's working within the system. That's what that is. And anybody that points to the riches of Scientology, I point over to Europe, and I point to the Vatican. And you want to tell me that the Vatican can't go and take a couple of their gold toilet bowls and some gold bricks out of their building and go fix poverty and starving kids in African countries with just that alone? I mean, why do we allow that? Why do we allow for the riches of Catholicism, but then we go ahead and tell the Scientologists that they're wrong for doing it?
It all comes down to the way that people are treated and abused, and that's what I don't have a problem with. But out
of the hundreds of thousands of Scientologists, there are a group of people that have left the church, and there are a group of people that have claimed abuse. And out of the hundreds of thousands or millions of Catholics, there's the same situation. There's a way too many kids that were molested. There are way too many kids that were beaten up. There are way too many areas of corruption in the Catholic Church, not just on the sexual level. There's corruption.
And I don't disagree with you on that, Mike.
So why are they so bad?
Because they refuse to acknowledge it and they don't let people speak against it. That's what I have a problem with.
If you go ahead and speak against it in public, if you've been a part and you've given your money or whatever it is that you've allowed to learn some secrets, and now you're going to go out there and blow it for them, and all they're doing is saying, hey, well, that's not the way we run this business. And if you're going to go out and try and ruin our name, we're going to ruin yours right back. That's what I see them doing. I see them retaliating against people that are attacking them.
Well, see, I see it as them trying to stifle free speech. That's the way I see it.
Listen, you're allowed. You can go get a blog. You can go get a public access TV show. You can do anything with the internet, and you can have all the free speech you want.
There was a gentleman called Sean Lonsdale who had a public access TV show in Clearwater called Cult Watch, and he would videotape them and talk about them and try to talk to them, and he mysteriously died. He supposedly committed suicide.
Listen, I mean, I get what you're saying. I love conspiracies, but now we're accusing them of murdering a guy who had a public access show that 8 people probably watched.
I'm just saying that there are many more instances of that. There was a gentleman in Clearwater that committed, a Russian gentleman that was a Scientologist that jumped off a building and committed suicide. There's,
And whose fault is that? The guy jumped.
But supposedly Scientology clears your mind. You're supposed to be free of...
Okay, evidently that guy wasn't clear yet. He had some issues. His mind was still a little bit clouded. I get what you're saying, and I appreciate your passion.
Yeah.
I'm not even saying that you're wrong. All I'm saying is, when it comes down to it, after watching that documentary, I certainly see some faults, but I don't understand the parallels between that and when I grew up in a Catholic school and a Catholic church. They seem all too similar to me. And I think because Scientology is relatively new and we don't really know about it, I believe that that's why they're vilified for it. I also love the fact that, you know what I find works best for me, John? I never go there and I never talk to them. And they never come to me and they never bother me. And it's kind of the way I treat all religions. I'm not here to judge you. You go and worship whatever you want, whatever you believe in, and I'll leave you alone. You have that right in this country, and whatever that leads to is on you. And who am I to tell you what to do? And the Scientologists have never come to me. Look what they did for Rob. They gave Rob a goddamn Easter egg hunt, and he didn't even do anything. So, hey, John, I appreciate you calling. Thank you for holding, man.
Alrighty. All right, I love the show.
Thank you. Sorry, I didn't mean to hang up on you. Listen, I get it. I get it. The guys. Well, I watched all the YouTube videos back in the day. I watched the videos of the guy out there, like he's talking about from Clearwater, that had the TV show that would go down and video him. Let me tell you, you go down there and you start sticking video cameras in people's faces who are trying to go about their daily lives anywhere. So go down to downtown Tampa and follow a couple of lawyers around with the video cameras. They're trying to go and do their work and see if they don't get in your face and send somebody out there to find out what the hell you're doing. Leave them alone. The number one thing to do is leave them alone. If you live in downtown Clearwater and I moved here.